Have you ever prayed so desperately that your tears became your only words? Tonight, I want to share with you a story that will shake everything you thought you knew about prayer, faith, and the unexpected ways the universe answers our deepest cries. This is about a woman whose unshakable faith in the face of absolute despair led to a miracle that defies explanation. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, a 42-year-old schoolteacher from a small town in Tennessee. Her 16-year-old daughter, Emma, had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia. The doctors gave them a prognosis that no parent should ever hear: 6 months, maybe less. Sarah's world collapsed. But instead of surrendering to despair, she did something that would change everything. News of Emma's recovery spread like wildfire. Some people called it a miracle. Others insisted there had to be a scientific explanation. The skeptics argued it was the chemotherapy finally working, despite doctors saying the treatment had shown no progress before that night. But here's what they couldn't explain: the timing. Why did everything change immediately after that night of desperate prayer? Dr. Andrew Newberg, a neuroscientist who studies prayer and meditation, has found that deep prayer activates regions associated with emotional regulation, stress reduction, and immune system function. Could Sarah's intense night of prayer have triggered biological changes that contributed to Emma's recovery? Science doesn't have a definitive answer, but the correlation is fascinating. But we must address the harder truth. Not every story ends like Sarah's. There are countless faithful people who pray with equal intensity and do to receive the miracle they desperately seek. Sarah herself wrestled with this question. A hospital chaplain told her, "The answer to prayer isn't always healing. Sometimes it's peace in the midst of suffering. Sometimes it's strength to endure." Sarah came to understand that her night of prayer wasn't just about saving Emma's life, was about surrendering completely to whatever God's plan might be. 5 years have passed since that October night. Emma just celebrated her 21st birthday, completely cancer-free. She's thriving in nursing school and volunteers at the same hospital where she was once a patient. But when you ask Sarah what the real miracle was, she doesn't immediately mention Emma's recovery. She talks about the gift of surrender, the deepening of her faith, and the transformation of her soul. Emma's healing was extraordinary, Sarah says, but learning to trust completely, to hope desperately, and to love unconditionally, that changes you forever. So tonight, I want you to think about the prayers you've been holding back. Sarah's story reminds us that there is power in persistent, faithful prayer, not because it manipulates the universe, but because it aligns our souls with divine purpose. Maybe the answer won't look like what you expect. Maybe the miracle will be internal rather than external. But one thing is certain, when you pray with everything you have, you are never praying alone. Emma Mitchell is alive today, against all medical odds. And Sarah is still praying for others now, for strangers who write to her, for anyone facing their own impossible night. Because prayer doesn't just change circumstances, prayer changes us. And sometimes that's the most powerful miracle of all. If this story touched your heart, share in the comments. What's the prayer you've been holding in your heart? And if you found hope in Sarah's story, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because every week we share true stories of faith, hope, and miracles that remind us we're never alone in our darkest hours. Until next time, keep praying, keep believing, and keep trusting that your tears are being collected by heaven. God bless you.